Welcome to TMZ Live. There has been a COVID reckoning today, a COVID reckoning in Washington, D.C., where Anthony Fauci repeatedly invoked the Fifth Amendment, the right against self-incrimination, before a Senate committee chaired by Senator Rand Paul. And it was a moment.
Yes, a very fiery moment at times. And Dr. Fauci explained before the first question came from Rand Paul, before the grilling started, he explained why he would be taking the Fifth.
Given Senator Paul's obvious obsession with calling for my prosecution, the only conclusion I can reach is that the sole reason he is calling me before this committee is to get me to say something, anything, that could vindicate his repeated public pledges that I end up, in his words, quote, behind bars, unquote. Any reasonable person who has followed his unhinged obsession with me would readily come to the same conclusion. Therefore, under the advice of my attorneys, I will invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution to refrain from answering your questions.
And so that was the case
And he
all
did it
morning.
dozens of times,
So
probably close to 100.
Now, Rand Paul has not made any secret of the fact that he wants Anthony Fauci in prison. He has made that very clear, and he had backup today.
Yes, Senator Bernie Moreno from Ohio explained his anger at Anthony Fauci and explained that actually that anger is what led him to even become a senator.
Those policies were put in place because you had moronic politicians that listened to the words of a megalomaniac who was more interested in having met a Kardashian than the suffering of the American people. And that is you. It was about 6 years ago today that I decided I'm going to give up my businesses, sell them all, run for office, run for the United States Senate. Here I am sitting in front of you 6 years later saying, who the do you think you were for doing that? It is a total disgrace what you did to this country.
So we're about to bring on a member of Congress to talk about this, but I want to just express something here, that this has been one of the most depressing things I have seen in memory. Because, look, you and I have talked about this. I mean, I felt that the government did a lot of things wrong when it came to COVID. And they weren't transparent. And I think when you look at the Anthony Fauci diaries that have come out, where he knew something that this virus leaked from the Wuhan lab, but didn't disclose it and made people feel the opposite, that was wrong. You know, look, whether there was...
And that lack of transparency is what creates the mistrust.
And I get it. And look, I think part of it was that they didn't want to create this kind of xenophobia, which I think came from the Biden administration, that still doesn't justify withholding information. So I have problems with a lot of the ways COVID was handled, especially with young people. But Anthony Fauci has been a dedicated public servant for decades. He saved countless lives during the AIDS epidemic and other epidemics. And he has been a public servant who really could have made a lot more money in the private sector. And he stayed, and he really did a lot of good work. Yes, problems with COVID, but to turn this into criminality, to turn this into the former head of the CDC having to take the Fifth, reminds me of Joe McCarthy. It just does.
I think, unfortunately, what you're saying is true and about his track record. What people sometimes remember you for is the very last thing. And if this is the end of Dr. Anthony Fauci as a public figure, this could end up becoming his legacy. So what will be Dr. Fauci's legacy ultimately? Joining us now to discuss that is Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. Congresswoman, welcome back to TMZ Live.
Well, thanks so much for having me today. And, I would have loved to have been in those hearings in DC to see Fauci really just skirt something he didn't have to. He has a pardon by Joe Biden. He has immunity. And really, this is teeing him up for further complications in his life. Now there will be a vote to hold him in contempt of Congress by the Senate just next week because he did not have to plead the fifth. And really, I don't think that he could have. Look, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a mom from Colorado who watched the country get lied to in real time. But there are facts here that just don't sit right with the American people.
So look, I'm going to agree with you that he withheld things about this was a leak from the Wuhan lab. And I think there's evidence of that. There's evidence in his diary, and I get it. And there's an argument that they did that to prevent xenophobia and all that. But that said, when somebody like Anthony Fauci shows up at a hearing, when the chairman of the committee has said, I want him behind bars, I am going to do everything I can to put him behind bars, that you have a backdrop of you put seashells in a certain configuration and they prosecute you, to me, it's like, why
declare your bias?
The deck seems so rigged.
A certain configuration. Come on, TMZ, you could do better than that. 8647. We all know what that meant.
Does not mean kill somebody.
Oh my
Lauren,
goodness! It doesn't mean we ran out of Trump. We're going to 86 him off the list. No, it's exactly what it meant. Look, I got accused of saying that I wanted Joe Biden dead when I proclaimed a scripture out of the book of Psalm.
But you didn't get prosecuted.
Right, you didn't get prosecuted. And it would have been ridiculous if you were prosecuted.
I wasn't actually saying to kill him. I wasn't actually saying 8646. That is not what it was. It was saying let another take his office. And so that is more understandable than purposefully putting seashells in 8647. But anyway, we're here to talk about Fauci. And Fauci, the fact is he lied to Congress under oath. That is illegal. Now he has a pardon, but he lied to the American people on national television for years. And when the Senate finally put him under oath again, this man who has already had this preemptive pardon still took the Fifth Amendment for every single question. And so now we're going to see not about putting him behind bars necessarily for COVID. He already has immunity there. He has that pardon, whether it was signed by an auto pen or Joe Biden or an assistant that had or didn't have permission. We haven't found one yet that said they had a permission. He has that. And now he has to face being held in contempt of Congress for pleading the fifth when he didn't need to. And this is not the behavior of an innocent public servant. That is the behavior of someone who knows the truth is radioactive. And moms and dads, they died alone in hospital rooms because of the policies that he pushed. Kids lost years of school. They lost their friends and childhood because of these lockdowns that he championed. And the lab leak origin that he spent years trying to bury, well, that's still the most plausible explanation. And he fought tooth and nail to keep it labeled as a conspiracy theory. Do you know how many labels were placed on me because I wanted to operate my small town local restaurant?
But Congresswoman, I hear what you're saying. Like there was a lot of pain that Americans went through and tribulations throughout the pandemic. And I get that some people want to blame that on Dr. Fauci. I fully understand that. So I agree with you that the American people deserve those answers. Would it not be better to not declare it so publicly that it's going to be a witch hunt in order to get those answers, so that he is going to come and sit down and maybe he does answer if Senator Paul isn't telling everybody screaming from the mountaintop, I'm putting this guy behind bars. You're not going to get those answers when you declare that before the hearing.
I don't think that Senator Rand Paul declared that this was a witch hunt. And if you want to call it a witch hunt, fine. Then explain why the witch keeps pleading the fifth after already being pardoned.
Okay, I'll tell you. Okay, hold on. I'll tell you why. And I don't believe this should be the case, but this is the climate we're in. Donald Trump has said that things that were signed with the auto pen are illegitimate. So you're telling me that you couldn't see Todd Blanche saying, The pardon was illegitimate because it was signed by an auto pen. Therefore, there was no pardon, and we're going to prosecute. You can't see that scenario?
A lot of this has already passed the statute of limitations. And, I'm glad
But
that the
not
Senate
lying
is...
to Congress
No,
today. If he spoke
Well,
today...
Well, then don't lie to Congress. Tell the truth.
Well,
He
but-
could have gone there and told the truth, and he would have had immunity from it.
But no.
No, but we're saying the immunity would
the
be
immunity would go
challenged.
away because it was signed by an auto pen.
I haven't seen it go away yet. I mean,
In fact, there was a reference to the auto
many
pen
of us
during the
would
hearing.
love to. Many of us would love to see those pardons go away because we don't know how legitimate they were, but they're still there. They're still in effect.
Can I tell you honestly, what I had a big problem? Look, I get the Wuhan thing, and I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you on it, and I also agree with you on what happened with kids. And I think mistakes clearly were made. And I agree with you there. The thing I have a bigger problem with, because I don't think he did that maliciously. I think there was a reason behind it, and it wasn't a good one, but it wasn't.
Yeah, so President Trump wouldn't get reelected.
No!
That's what it was. It was
It was to
tens
prevent
of thousands
xenophobia.
of
It was to
please.
prevent.
Tens of thousands of ballots were mailed out illegally in the name of this pandemic, in the name of COVID and safety protocols, and we had an illegitimate election in 2020. Tens of thousands of ballots mailed out illegally in multiple states.
They were worried about it, and I agree with you. That's not a good reason not to tell the truth. I agree. My bigger problem is he was kind of a star blanker when you look at the diary.
Right.
That actually bothered me, that he was looking at headlines and how famous he was.
Oh, he's in love with himself. Did you read the diary? It was like
it bugged me.
BTK.
I gotta say,
oh
that
my
bugged
goodness.
me. That really
No.
bugged me.
That bugs me, but does that mean he should be in prison?
No. And that's why it's like, why is Rand Paul, why is he saying, this is what's going on right now. Politicians, from Letitia James, to Alvin Bragg, and you look at Rand Paul, they're declaring we want somebody in prison, and then they investigate or call them.
Get the testimony.
There are Republicans being investigated right now. We've heard rumors of a current sitting Congressman, Corey Mills, being investigated. We've heard George Santos is under investigation again. So it's not just like they're going after their political opponents and enemies like the left did to President Trump. I mean, there was lawfare all the way through. They tried to push lawfare even on me. And, all of this stuff it is political warfare when it comes to the left. And I think our DOJ is being pretty fair in what is going on. But is he going to be behind bars because he pushed you to be? He said, "Don't worry about a cloth mask; they're useless. Actually, go ahead and get all the cloth masks you can, double mask, triple mask,
But you're going to throw him in prison for that?
How many people died from heart complications after getting all of these jabs that were mandated, that you had to have a vaccine passport? There's a nurse in New York. I would love to see a pardon for her. She was issuing fake COVID vaccine passports. That's the pardon I would love to see. She's a national treasure, a hero. People that she didn't want to inject with an experimental vaccine.
I think you're out over your skis. I don't think you can say that vaccine costs more lives than saved. I don't think you can say that.
Oh, okay. Well, not a doctor, but there's plenty of evidence out there. I'd love to have another conversation with you about that one.
Well, I'm a Jewish doctor, so I'm closer.
There you go.
But not a practicing one. So
I'm
that's what
a
you should
mom
say
and
to
a
him.
granny. I kiss boo-boos, so,
Hey, listen.
Well, thank you for joining us.
We really do appreciate you coming on.
You guys are great. My mom loves you. I got to say that. So
why is it always the mom?
Everyone says my mom loves you.
Why is it always the
love
moms?
you guys. Well, I do what I can to take care of her so she can live a quiet and peaceable life. And, she gets to sit at home and watch you guys a little more than I do.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you coming on.
Thanks so much.
Thanks
God
again.
bless y'all. See ya.
Coming up.
So Tony Romo's DWI stop, or in Wisconsin they call it OWI,
Which is,
the body cam footage, which we got. Their interaction here is very interesting.
Where are you coming from?
The golf course. And I'm going to meet Grandma and Grandpa.
Be right back.
So Tony Romo's DWI stop, or in Wisconsin they call it OWI,
which is,
or OWI is what it would be. Anyway, that's completely irrelevant. What is relevant is the body cam footage, which and it shows the moment that the officer approaches his car. Their interaction here is very interesting. When she asks him where he's coming from, that's when she gets suspicious. Listen to what happens here. And then, even more interesting, we're going to get to his field sobriety testing. Wow. But here is the moment she pulls him over.
Reason for my stop today is the unsafe passing on the right, the lane deviation.
Say it louder, I'm sorry.
Unsafe passing on the right, cutting across the gore. Where are you coming from?
The golf course. And I'm going to meet Grandma and Grandpa.
Okay. How many drinks have you had? You're coming from a golf course?
I played in a golf tournament in Wisconsin State Amateur.
Okay.
So it's like a USGA event.
Okay. All right. I'm going to run you through some fields.
What's that mean?
Field sobriety tests. Are you willing to take any field sobriety tests?
Call my lawyer and then I'm going to drive the field if that's okay.
I'm sorry?
Do you want me to take me through field sobriety
Yes.
test?
You're denying to step out of the vehicle pending fields?
I'm just going to call my lawyer.
Okay. Step out of the vehicle.
I'm going to call my lawyer.
No. Step out of the vehicle.
I'm not allowed to.
Step out of the vehicle. Turn around for me.
I think there's a good chance that...
Patting you down for weapons, okay? No weapons on you? Okay, all right. You're detained pending an OWI investigation.
Wow, I think that golf course, to me, what it means
triggered
is...
her.
Yeah, it's like people who play golf drink.
And she's like, wait, that's
That
why she immediately
really
said,
registered with her.
that's what registered. So she cuffs him and says that you are detained at this point. She's not arresting him because he hadn't done the field sobriety. They're on a busy highway, so they take him back to the station, and that's where the field sobriety happens. And his history as a football player seems relevant to some of what he's doing here and some of his responses.
Can I do an exercise?
Go ahead, dude.
2 back surgeries.
Any head injuries?
Excuse me?
Any head injuries recently? Any concussions?
Well, over the years, yes, but not recently. No.
9 heel to toe steps? Willing to submit to a PBT?
What is that?
Machine that you blow in?
It's a preliminary drug.
It does not determine the results of
Oh,
my
no,
test.
we're not doing that.
Okay.
I've already heard from all the lawyers, don't ever do that.
Okay.
So
All right.
we're not going to do that.
Okay.
But
All right, sir.
did I pass this test?
You turn around.
No, I didn't, huh?
Wow.
Well,
Okay.
you can't fool Tony. You can tell.
So here's the thing about this, and it's really fascinating on so many levels. On a level, he feels like he is, if he was drinking, he's holding it together.
Yes, he
and
seems like he's holding it together.
but is trying to hold it
There's
together.
look, when he does the stretching, like he did a lot of stretching before the test.
Which you would think he would not ordinarily do.
But he doesn't look like he's not stumbling.
Well,
right?
and here's the thing. So he says he will not do the blood alcohol test. It's interesting, she just gave initials initially. She didn't say what it was, which I found kind of interesting. But the fact that he wouldn't take the test, that could mean his license gets suspended for a year. However, they can still prosecute him for DUI, but all they have is an unsafe lane change, and he doesn't seem.
But there's
I have a development because I was with you. I said this doesn't make any sense to me. He improperly changes lanes allegedly, and then she detains him.
Right.
Okay. Now we have learned that the cops say there was an open bottle of alcohol in his car.
That's bad, and you can be cited for that. But that doesn't mean you drank it while you were driving.
Doesn't mean you drank it. Doesn't mean it could be someone else.
That's
who
right.
Drank it, right?
And you can get cited for having an open bottle in the car. That doesn't mean you consumed it before getting in the car.
Right.
And so I don't think that changes the scenario. The prosecutors are going to have to look at this case and say, do we have enough to convict him of driving under the influence? And they're going to say, we've got him walking a line where it doesn't seem bad.
And we have him doing some yoga poses. And
our chat is kind of like golf doesn't always equal drinking. It's kind of interesting that
that's going to
golf
be
equals alcohol in this
that's
situation.
in his favor.
Right.
That you have this officer.
It seems like she had a bias.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That he made an unsafe lane change, and she's going to cite him for that. And as soon as she hears golf, boom, the light bulb goes off.
Yeah.
I don't think, I think this case is going to plea bargain into something less than drunk driving.
A little wet reckless?
And maybe his license
I know
gets
my law stuff.
and maybe his license gets suspended for a year. And I'm not advocating this to people,
No.
but in this case, by not doing the BAC, I are
The BAC,
It was a wise
right.
decision.
The
If you were his
breathalyzer.
lawyer,
yeah.
seems like it.
Hi, I am Katie from Chicago, and I'm on TikTok. I do a lot of sports stuff. And the Romo thing cracks me up because I am like the #1 Tony Romo hater for commentating. He seems like a great guy. I just can't stand the commentating.
Really? I thought people like his
No. Oh my God. Like dude, I don't know Jim and you know, like I think he used to be very good at breaking down the plays before they happened, but now I just feel like he sort of rambles, you know, whatever. So this is definitely Romo. Like Romo doing the sobriety test is the same Romo that I see with Jim Nance. That being said, you know, I feel like both sides were pretty respectful. The woman maybe the police officer maybe a little hard on him. But I feel like both sides were pretty respectful. It hits a little closer home to me because I was arrested on my prom night, right? And I chose to blow, you know, the breathalyzer in my date. He did not. He did get his license suspended for 6 months. So I'll be curious to see how that all plays out.
Why did you have to do it if one of you was a passenger?
No, I did it. I was stupid and I did it.
But one of you
But you were
a passenger? You were a passenger? Were you a passenger?
No, what happened was like we had left a beer can just sitting in the car and a janitor. Yeah, so they were waiting for us, you know, small town, not a lot going on.
Okay, I have a question for you. This doesn't hurt his CBS contract, does it?
I don't think so. I mean, I think it depends on how it turns out, but I don't
don't
like
think
that.
so
They're not going to lose their
This is
number one
not
guy.
Mark Sanchez.
No, it's definitely not that. And listen, I also thought was refreshing in that there's never a moment of, he never played the "Do you know who I am?"
No.
Never said any of that. And I actually don't think she, at least initially, maybe when they got back to the station, somebody else told her, but she doesn't give on that she knows who he is.
Yeah, I don't know that she did.
Which is good, which is the way it should be.
If she did, she really hit it.
Yeah.
Coming up.
The singer David is going to stand trial for the murder of Celeste Rivas. We certainly heard a mountain of evidence, to use the phrase, from the prosecutors that they have against David. There also were a lot of really interesting items that they don't have.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
Donnell Rawlings took TMZ DC on a city tour.
You know what the irony of this is? A black man takes a white person to the White House.
It's TMZ.
Well, now we know that the singer David is going to stand trial for the murder of Celeste Rivas. And during the preliminary hearing, we certainly heard a mountain of evidence, to use the phrase, from the prosecutors that they have against David. There also were a lot of really interesting items that they don't have, and maybe they're still trying to gather them, or maybe they're just not going to have this even when the trial begins, which will be sometime in the next 90 days. They don't have a date yet. But, you know, when you have a murder case, you want to have the murder weapon. And to this point, they certainly have not, they didn't make any mention of it during the preliminary hearing.
They don't even know what it looks like.
They don't know, they know that she was, you know, that there was a sharp object that was pressed into her abdomen.
Well, they're saying she was stabbed.
Yeah, they're saying she was stabbed.
But also the problem is one of the injuries is the rib cage, and they don't know how long the murder weapon will be because it's an open cavity.
So they don't have a knife.
They
don't
have
have
no
a
knife.
blade.
They don't have the chainsaw, the Makita.
But they know
blue
he bought a
chainsaw.
chainsaw.
They know he
They
bought
know
a
he
chainsaw.
bought it.
Well, that's kind of the relevant part here.
Right.
That the timing that he buys the chainsaw right after she disappears is
Right.
the relevant part.
They
Whether
found the
have
two
it or
other
not.
chainsaws.
I know, but there are so many. Listen, with O.J. Simpson, and I know he was found not guilty, but he was found liable in the civil. They never found the knife.
Right.
And so it's not unusual that the murder weapon, if there is one, disappears.
Right. And not only that, they don't have the fire mat that he bought that I guess was going to go with this burn cage that
They
he
have
never
the pool.
used. They have the pool. They don't have their cell phones. They don't have Celeste's cell phone.
I thought
her
that was
purse.
interesting because we've seen so many of these text messages.
Mhm.
So That means they just gathered them from the
cloud.
carrier.
Yeah.
From the iCloud
From the carrier
data.
and iCloud.
Yeah.
But they don't actually
Correct.
have either of their phones.
Nope, they don't have her purse. They don't have security footage of those 20 minutes where they think Data did
What
kill
I
her.
think will be relevant is that they did find her passport
Right.
up in this rural area of Santa Barbara County. So to me, that shows that he was allegedly getting rid of her items, right?
Well, we know he went to
That he
Santa
went
Barbara
up there.
County
Well,
right
his
after
car
she
and his phone
disappeared.
did, which was something the defense.
And that's going to be a big thing. We knew that early on.
Right. So
that-
you could also infer, did he, when he was getting rid of the passport, yes, that was found. It just means someone didn't find the chainsaw. Someone didn't find the phones.
Right.
I mean, a
But-
chainsaw is hard to throw out.
I don't think this is going to
Window.
be a big deal in the trial.
Mm-hmm.
I think the defense. Listen, it's sort of like splitting hairs when you say she was stabbed, but we don't have the knife. I mean, I think the defense's case is not going to turn on what isn't there. I think it's going to be more of a scenario that the defense is going to
Painting the
present.
picture for the jury.
That's right. But I know people are making a big deal of this now. But again, think about it. The key is, was she stabbed? Now, that may be a dogfight in terms of whether the defense challenges.
But then it becomes who stabbed?
Who stabbed exactly?
Or
Obviously,
was she?
prosecutors-
Or do you have proof she was stabbed? And then they may challenge that autopsy.
Well,
'cause
where's your evidence that he is the one who stabbed her?
even if she was stabbed.
Right.
But remember, they had a real hard time establishing cause of death for a long time at the
It
coroner's
came
office.
down
Remember
to
that?
what was left to, rule out. That was the only other explanation.
So that may be a big thing that the defense brings up. I don't think it's going to be, oh, we can't find the chainsaw, oh, we can't find the knife. I just don't think that's going to be relevant.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nora Christine from Orlando, Florida, and I think that we have more questions than answers with this case. I want to know, how long was that car in that body for? Unfortunately, it just shows that poor, sweet baby was sitting there, and we need answers and we need justice. Also, again, who helped him? Did he have help? Clearly, he had help. So I'm just praying for justice for sweet Celeste Rivas.
Yeah. As far as how long the body was there, well, the prosecutors say she was killed in April, but the body was not found in that car until early September.
Right. It's unbelievable.
Coming up.
Nolan Wells' mother is putting some of his friends on notice that there could be a lawsuit coming, and that means make sure you're not getting rid of certain information from your social media and your cell phone.
She's trying to preserve that chain of evidence that could lead you to what actually happened to Nolan.
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. Nolan Wells' mother is putting some of his friends on notice that there could be a lawsuit coming, and that means you need to make sure you're not getting rid of certain information and data, particularly from your social media and your cell phones. So she has filed, with an attorney, has filed this, what do they call it in the law? Like a notice of...
it's basically
that you have to hold on to some
Yeah,
things. What's the word
it's a
I'm
notice
thinking
of preservation of evidence.
Yes, no, exactly. Thank you, attorney.
You're welcome.
And it shows clearly that, they don't have answers yet. They don't know that Nolan's friends had anything to do with whatever happened to him, but she's taking steps just in case they end up finding out that there was foul play here.
And the other thing is that even if there's no foul play or no foul play on the part of these friends, it may still connect to a cause of death.
To what happened that day.
To what happened that day, even if it doesn't
Even if they
implicate
didn't-
them.
right,
Exactly.
right.
And so she's trying to preserve that chain of evidence that could lead you to what actually happened to Nolan.
Right.
Yeah, and so all this could include, text messages that he had between friends, WhatsApp messages, DMs. It could include photos, videos. So we're going to see, hopefully, a bunch of evidence that will help piece together what exactly led to his death. And it's not just one social media platform. She's asking, for WhatsApp information, Snapchat, Life 360, which is very telling because if you remember,
That's what she used to
Yep.
find out where his phone was. right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
She used Life 360 to track down his phone. And she says in the documents that the GPS data for Life 360 did not match the data for his Snapchat account, which is kind of strange. She's
So
trying to
she's
piece
wondering.
together why is that the case. We do know that remember, Nolan's phone was left on a friend's boat, ended up with the friends later back on the mainland without Nolan on that boat.
Now,
So
we should know that we have tried reaching the family's lawyer, Ben Crump, who is traveling, to find out his reaction to the video we have, which seems to show that the friends left Horn Island.
Our video as Officer Tatum's podcast.
That seems to show they friends left Horn Island without Nolan on that boat.
Right.
And there's been a lot of talk about when they made the distress call, did somebody use the word Nolan? It appears, at least from that video, that when the boat left, Nolan wasn't on it.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we're trying to find out, if they have a reaction to that.
That doesn't say what happened to Nolan,
No.
but it would point to who was he with on the island, because then they become the people that you're looking at.
And that's why we're trying to get an answer, but Ben Crump is traveling right now, so we will let you know when we find out.
Hey, I'm Christiana. I'm from Atlanta. And honestly, I think that with this case, that his family, his mom really strikes me as somebody who is not willing to back down. So these do seem like the next appropriate steps, because if the answers are not coming to you, you sometimes do have to go out and find them yourself. So I really, really do hope that this helps aid in finding Justin for Nolan.
Yeah, absolutely. So the old saying, sorry, I didn't mean to look at you when I said old saying. But
Okay.
The
I'm used
former
to it.
saying
I am used to it.
was don't judge a book by its cover. More modern times, don't judge an influencer by their social media posts, because maybe that's not exactly who they are. Nara Smith is said influencer who does some really, I would say some of her recipes seem delicious, but what seems weird is what she's wearing when she makes these incredible meals. It gives trad wife. And a lot of people of her followers think that she is a trad wife. She addressed that.
She have pearls on?
Yes.
No, it's a doily.
Oh.
It's a doily. Oh, actually, there might be pearls
Under the doily,
There might be
yeah.
pearls underneath that. Are you clutching them?
No, it's just it reminds me of Leave It to Beaver with Barbara Billingsley, who always mopped in pearls.
It does. Well, she went on Call Her Daddy and addressed the trad wife label.
Do you consider a trad wife?
Well, I had to look up the term. The fast answer is a trad wife is a woman who embraces or promotes a traditional model of marriage and family life. I don't prioritize being a homemaker. I'm a working mom. Primary caregiver for my kids? No. My husband and I split it 50-50. Takes primary responsibility for cooking, cleaning, and managing the household. Yeah, I like to cook. Okay, sue me. Household and cleaning, he does the dishes. I don't touch the dishes. He cleans our house. Supports the husband's role as the primary breadwinner. No, we both work. Like that doesn't make any sense. There was this one situation with someone on my team where we were trying to work with this person, and the person was like, I don't care what you say, what you do, what you show me, what Forbes articles you show me of her business. Like, she is a trad wife to me, and I don't want to work with her.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous to call her a trad wife. I mean, she's got a career. Martha Stewart had a catering business.
Harvey, but her career is based on
trad
her
wife.
being cooking, cleaning. Literally, this lady makes,
cooking.
if she says she's making
Cooking,
hot dogs.
not cleaning.
No,
She says he does
okay,
her
not
cleaning.
cleaning. But when, yeah, he better clean, because when she makes
What
meals.
if she owned a restaurant?
She can't, because the meal she's cooking, she's making
What
hot
if-
dogs from scratch with the casing, the mustard from scratch.
Does a woman who cooks in a restaurant, a chef, is she a trad wife? Is a chef, a female chef in a restaurant, a trad wife?
No, but she's not
she
cooking for
cooking
her
at home?
family. Nara is only cooking for 3 people, or however many kids she has and her husband. She's not cooking for dining patients that are paying their money.
Here's the thing.
She is
Tawanda,
cooking. What?
if you had a choice, if you were married and you had a choice of do you do the cooking or the cleaning, which do you pick?
Both.
Well, then you're a trad wife.
Sometimes, no. I'm saying
think you
sometimes
both have
I want to
gotten
cook
off
and
the
sometimes I
actual
want him
point
to
here.
cook. Sometimes
I
I'll
think you
clean,
both have gotten
sometimes
off
he
the actual
cleans.
point. The actual point is, yes, she does that for her social media, but she's saying that's her job.
But that is, but
She's
her
also a
job
model.
is, but like she's saying, I have a job, and like, yeah, you make money and you contribute because of your content that you present as a trad wife.
She's making money. This
As
is
a
her-
trad wife.
Like I said.
No, she's making
being
money
a trad wife.
posting videos of herself.
She is the equivalent.
Oh my
she is the
God.
equivalent of a
She is
female
acting.
chef in a restaurant.
She is acting as a trad wife.
Here's the thing. How many people think she's not a trad wife? How many people think she is?
How many people are women?
Oh, excuse me. We win.
I win.
Men
Women win. Women win. Women
Men
win.
win.
Coming up.
Everything you are saying adds up to you shouldn't do this.
But
Even you are saying you shouldn't do this.
My mom, my dad, everybody, Brandy. But, you know, and that's because they care about me. And you guys care about me too.
Yes.
But you know what? This is the end of this reign, and I got to go out with a bang.
Be right back.
Hey, what's up, Ray? Okay, Ray. It's good seeing you. Good seeing you.
So, this is potentially disturbing news that I heard.
Oh, man.
That you are getting back in a boxing ring.
Absolutely.
This is a this is a terrible idea.
I
You know what,
really
everybody's
thought
telling
it
me
was
that.
going to be a one-off, and you know what? You did it. That's it. So I thought that would be it.
I mean,
You
for
did
people
it.
who don't
You
know,
said you tried.
it did not go well.
It didn't go. It went well.
No, it didn't.
Well,
Ray, you got
did not
knocked
go
out.
well.
Listen, the fight didn't go well, but the opportunities that exist after.
Okay, that's fair. And now you've got
so if we're doing
opportunities
it just for
other than boxing.
Yes, but you can't go out like that.
Yes, you can.
You can.
So
You can't-
August
you can't go
15th.
out
Do you
like
know? Do you know how many the boxing world is riddled with people who say one more,
And they
one more.
stay too long.
And they stay too long.
Yeah.
Stay
And I
one
was in the
fight too
hospital
long.
for 4 days.
Right.
Why are
See,
you doing
well,
this?
I just
You want to be in
like,
hospital for 5 days?
well,
Is that
listen,
what-
maybe one more time.
No, I'm actually serious. I care about you.
Thank you, but I think, listen, I'm never gonna underestimate anybody anymore. Orlando Brown might be an outstanding fighter, but I feel like, you know, I'm 45. This is the
How
end.
old is he?
I think he might be pushing 40, maybe.
Oh.
But he's definitely over 35.
Oh.
But what I'm saying is, I can't go out like that, and now I'm at the end of like this reckless Ray J, right? I'm at 45.
But when you go, okay,
Maybe
hold on.
find like a 60-year-old
Let me just do this. I know. I hope this doesn't happen, but you could lose again. So are you going to say it after this one? You'll do one more after that, and where does that lead? You don't. I mean, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, you got to think. I was fighting in front of probably 200 people last time. Now I'm fighting in front of 15,000.
You think that's going to make it
people.
easier for you?
It's not.
No,
but it pushes
Everything
me.
you are saying adds up to you shouldn't do this.
But
Even you are saying you shouldn't do this.
My mom, my dad, everybody, Brandy. But, you know, and that's because they care about me. And you guys care about me too.
Yes.
But you know what? This is the end of this reign, and I got to go out with a bang.
Okay, like I said.
I got to go out with a bang before.
But like I said, if it doesn't go well, are you going to say the same thing now that you need to do it again? I need an answer to that.
Well, if 45,000 people want to see me after this fight because it was so bad, then I'm going to have to take the deal.
Oh, is this your plan?
Right?
Is that,
Like,
you just
you know,
go in and have a
terrible
horrible fight so
idea.
that people will want to see another one?
Well, I mean, listen, I didn't think anybody wanted to see me.
You were in the hospital for 4 days.
Yeah.
And this is serious stuff when you get.
And shout out to the Mountain View Hospital. They really took care of me.
Okay, but when you have to shout out hospitals,
when your sponsor,
this is when you're shouting out hospitals
is a wheelchair company.
This is
that's
why
not good,
you should
bro.
not be doing this.
Well, the Mountain View took care of me both times I got sick. So the second time I went in, it was almost like I was just checking back in.
God.
Like to a hotel.
Okay.
So, I'm scared. I'm
It's
excited.
clear we
though.
can't convince you.
15,000 people, State Farm Arena. I'm a real boxer now.
So,
are you
not
training?
yet.
Are you training?
Oh, absolutely.
How much a day?
The gut is gone.
How much a day?
I'm sucking it in.
No, not the
no.
gut. How much training are you doing a day?
I'm doing at this point. I'm gonna go to Cancun. I'm gonna do another 10 days there. And then
Well, when does the training start?
Training's happening
In Cancun?
Well, no, I've been training with Dean and AB every day.
So you're going to Cancun on vacation?
No, this is a strictly. This is strictly for training. This is the final training going.
You're not going to go to any Cancun clubs?
No, I'm gonna stay in the bed.
Just going to stay in bed, right?
I'm gonna
Just
do
to the gym?
Train, bed rest.
Right.
Train, bed rest.
No clubs.
Nah, the clubs will come to us.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck, man. August 15th.
Yeah.
Just train, please.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Coming up.
Usher's on stage, and he's about to do the whole bit with a fan. And now, listen to how this has to go down now because of what happened in Nashville.
Don't bring your ass up here if you don't want to be here.
He made such a mistake.
Be right back.
Well, Usher and Chris Brown back at it again on their R&B tour, and last night they were in Birmingham, Alabama. Now, you know what happened last time at their show in Nashville when Usher brought a fan up who we spoke to the other day, Gabrielle Cheyenne, explained to us why she
was not into it.
Shunned him
She wanted
dancing.
She wanted
on
Chris
her.
Brown. She got Usher. Wasn't into it. He kicked her off the stage.
Yeah, and I think she really ruined the show for everybody that night in Nashville. But anyway, it's a new night. They're in Birmingham. Usher's on stage, and he's about to do the whole bit with a fan. And now, listen to how this has to go down now because of what happened in Nashville.
Don't bring your ass up here if you don't want to be here. Brown don't like ugly, but he most certainly don't feel too good about pretty that she can do. Hey, listen, that's what I'm saying. I'm just looking for one sexy lady tonight that want to share the stage with me. Me too. Hey, Chris, you find one over there? I'm gonna take my time to find the right one on the right side.
He made such a mistake.
He really leaned into what had happened.
But he's acting needy. That I'm going to bring whoever I bring on stage, they better be into me. No, make them naturally
insecure.
Make them naturally just do it, and you could also have.
But he's worried that what if the next person
I understand
comes up
that.
is.
But there's somebody who brought the. Let me just make my point. There's somebody who brought these women into the VIP section.
Right.
Okay, that person should do the screening and say, if it's Usher, you're
Will
going
you
to be into it.
it?
Yeah, and if the answer is no, you 86.
So just a verbal screening.
Just a verbal screening, and that way it looks more natural.
Whatever happened
he's
last
being
night,
needy.
last night it worked out because the woman who they pulled from the crowd actually did more dancing on Usher than he did on her.
And then they paid her.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Zyraya, and honestly, I agree with what Yara is saying. If she didn't want to be on the stage with Usher, then she shouldn't have went up there.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. But her explanation was she didn't know that it was going to be Usher until she
and also,
actually got out
And
there.
had she said no, then there'd probably be a shot of her saying, I'm passing, and that itself would become a thing.
Right.
You can't win that one.
Coming up.
Big wedding in Vegas. Actually, I don't know if it counts as a big wedding. It seems like it was kind of spur of the moment. Marjorie Taylor Greene tied the knot in Vegas to her fiance, Brian Glenn, and they...
It was a big night.
Be right back.
Big wedding in Vegas. Actually, I don't know if it counts as a big wedding. It seems like it was kind of spur of the moment. Or at least...
Well, I don't think that's spur of the moment. That's
Marjorie Taylor
was...
Greene, yes, exactly. I mean, I don't know if they had a huge bridal party is my point. But yes, Marjorie Taylor Greene tied the knot in Vegas to her fiance, Brian Glenn. And they...
It was a big night.
They just walked around the strip. The wedding itself was at...
Caesars.
No, we're not Caesars, Bellagio.
Bellagio.
Yep, and they were in front of the fountain, the whole thing, and...
they gambled afterward.
And then they did some gambling. Actually...
It's kind of a cool wedding, actually.
I know a friend who did a wedding like this, and it was fun.
We
basically just roamed around.
We talked about this. We talked about this in our morning meeting. This is such a radical, different view of Marjorie Taylor Greene from a year ago. That she has changed her politics. She is no longer in Congress. People are, who called her crazy are calling her reasonable now. She's a married woman and out of Congress and seemingly very happy.
It's weird. It's weird. Like, how did it just flip like that?
But it did. I mean, it's really interesting. Boy, talk about changing your life, man.
Yeah.
Well, okay. We will see you tomorrow.